Oh, Leanne, thank God you're here. Uh, oh, you were away. You must haven't heard the news.
What? What happened?
Sam had a heart attack.
Is she okay?
No, she's not okay. She's dead.
Oh no, it's all my
I know.
fault. Oh, I never should have gone to Hawaii. Oh, Sam,
Oh
can
my
you
God.
ever forgive me?
No, no, it's not your fault. It's my fault because I stayed in New York this week. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do except introduce episode 8 of General Hospital Snark. Thank you for indulging Mama Snark and I in our little play and scene this week. But just goes to show you the typical tropes on a soap opera when people die. That's just one example where they just draw it out. Anyway, let's get right into it this week. I'm here on location in Union Square Park, which is one of our beautiful gathering parks in New York. So let's jump right into it. I heard a rumor, Leanne, about Tristan Rogers being placed with Holly because he might be leaving the show due to his health. What have you heard?
Well, I haven't heard that specifically, but I have seen the rumblings on the page, and it's been very obvious how he does not look well. He's been sitting down for
Yeah,
most of his scenes. He's very much there as an actor. I don't in any way want to diminish his skill, but you can just tell, much like time before last when Holly came back when she was still battling long COVID and they had her sitting down for most of the time. So
yeah.
yeah, I think you might be right, and it's making me sad. So,
It's making me sad, and from a plot perspective, it's making me angry because, I have just watched. I mean, I don't remember if I ever liked Holly, but I certainly didn't dislike her to the point that I dislike her now.
right, exactly. I,
And
I,
and again, it's got to be the writing of her character these last couple of times she's popped into town because it's just she shows up. I'm just like, really, go away,
but
please.
I do want to say this though, because I figured something out this morning. At least I think I did. Oh my gosh, if I start thinking like the writers, we're in serious trouble. But I thought, okay, well, if Holly and Robert go off into the sunset, that's really stupid. But they just announced that Sasha's their daughter. But wait, we saw Sasha 2.0 yesterday, stepping up,
Mhm.
being a badass. And I thought, yep, this is the perfect opportunity for the writers to take what they did to poor wimpy Sasha. And now let's have the revenge of the abused. And I mean, whether it's in the context of revenge, which I don't think it will be, but just in the
Right.
context of, can we let this woman, who's a pretty darn good actor and is gorgeous, can we have her be something other than a doormat? The doormat isn't working anymore. And so I'm very happy in this new direction.
I like it. And yes, like you said, it's a perfect moment to do it. If Robert and Holly are galloping off into the sunset, they can all, make their amends and everything's good and move on.
I don't know what they're going to do about that. The Cody Sasha thing. I don't know. Obviously it's Friday. We're recording this on Friday, November 8th. So we have not seen today's episode. We don't know what has been revealed or not revealed today. So we can't speak to that. I think they're going to figure that out. I think what's going to happen is that Sasha's going to be a badass. I think Cody might even go away for a minute to lick his wounds. I don't know. And then we'll carry on. Let's just hope and pray that what's been going on with all these deaths and all these horrible things that can we lighten it up now? It's the holidays. Can we have some joy? I am all for joy in Port Charles, you know?
Yes. I agree. I agree. But every night when I turn on Hulu, it's just like, this is not sparking joy, folks.
Yeah, now I will admit I made a decision this morning. Uh I was not going to indulge in the grief posts anymore. So I made a funny Portia and Curtis post, which brought me great joy. And and so I'm shifting it up. And I really hope they don't take too long to wake up Lulu, because that would be joyful, right? We need some more joy.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
Maxie and
We've wallowed in
Spinelli
grief
to get
enough.
engaged and decide they're going to be married. And, we
Hey,
need to do all those things. And for heaven's sakes, can we bring some man to Diane? And I am not opposed. We did a poll. Most everybody suggested
right.
Marty, and I'm not opposed to that. I think that would be actually kind of hilarious if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because we got Mr. Southern Gentleman here, and we have Miss I'm a New York attorney, and that could be quite entertaining.
It's been a rough week in the world. It's been a rough week personally. I know for you as well. And could I get a little joy injection into my general hospital? That's
Right.
all I want.
Right. We
Yeah.
need we
Yeah. A
need
little
Tracy being
comedy.
fun. Oh, well, and the other thing I'm going to be, if we're talking joy in a Schadenfreude kind of way, I want to see Drew get his. I want to see Willow I want to
Yes.
see the
Yes.
ramifications of that. That brought me joy, which should tell people what kind of state I'm in right now.
But I hope it's something. I hope it's a good revenge because I have to say this, and people know I'm not exactly Carly's number one fan. But when something like this happens, and I know how she's gonna react to Willow and Drew, I'm like, bring it on. I want to see that.
That is
That's when Carly is good. Mama
her
Bear.
little outburst in the locker room against Brad and Lucas was the Carly I don't love. I know there's history, but
Okay.
can we move on? I mean, why is it that we can't forgive Brad what he did, but good God, we just saw Sonny shoot a man in cold blood, and already we've all forgotten that. Plot
And
locker.
where were those cameras?
Right. Now that we know that
I guess we only
the
have cameras in the nursery.
oh, motion detected.
Yeah, that was good. I was good. That was good. I have to say that was good.
I wanted to bring up a fact that the people on the page have mentioned that they're disappointed that Diane hasn't been there for Alexis. I need you guys to remember in that moment, it was still the same day. Everything, and we don't even know what day it is now. For all we know, we could be a week later and have missed the whole thing. I don't know. But what I'm saying is Diane was also busy with other things. She had no idea what
Right.
was going on. She had heard that everything was okay, and then she hadn't heard anything after that until some point, and we don't know how, so don't get hung up on the details of that.
Yeah,
Diane
it's
was
tough. It's always tough on a soap because a day is a week. If you think how a writer has to work and plot out that day, yeah, it feels weird that it was, yesterday's episode was just getting to be the evening, people going to bed, people coming home, but that's the way it works. Alexis had a busy day grieving with a lot of people, including Sunny, which I have to say,
oh yeah,
talking about Carly, the Carly I like, that's the Sunny I like.
exactly.
And a lot of people have said, their chemistry has always been great. I just want to say, watch out other actors on that show because Nancy Lee Grahn right now is mopping the floor.
I basically said the same thing this morning on the
Yeah,
page, which was
yeah, yeah.
she is knocking it out of the park on every level and layer, and it is amazing to
Yeah.
behold.
So
So
in that respect, I wish it had, I wish we didn't know about it several months prior, but it is what it is. That's the nature of soaps these days. But here's another thing somebody hasn't considered. Nobody's told Ava that her niece has died. Speaking of family
oh,
connections,
that's, you're right. That was
Diane's the best friend, but Ava is the Aunt Ava.
now, but Sam and
So
Eva, what
all
was
a
their
good time.
relationship though?
Well,
Sam
they
and
didn't
Eva
have
didn't
one,
have
but
a
you would think
relationship.
someone would. That's sort of what I call the reminder scene that Lucas is related to Ava, but so is Sam because Sam is Lucas's sister.
I have a feeling that Ava's kind of been sitting in the corner for a minute or two here. And so I think we're going to see a ramp up of Ava's story. And I think Nina's going to be involved in that. And I'm very happy because if those two besties, I mean, they are Thelma and Louise. I mean, they would be
Yeah,
fantastic together, teaming up together, right? Especially if they were to take down all the men that have wronged them. That would be awesome. And there's somebody, and I think Sasha's really going to be cranking up to be in a major, whether they
yeah,
leave her there, but obviously we have this kidnapping situation. Hopefully Sid Will sticks around for a while because I think he's a wonderful bad guy. I don't know how that will happen, but I just got off a plane and it's daylight savings for not, I don't know what day it is. I don't know. I think the writers are in a similar situation. They'll be like, oh, wait, hold on. He's coming back. Oh, we did not think of that. And so something will happen unexpectedly.
I will say this time around, as we call them, the new old writers,
Mhm.
they're less awful. Maybe they're listening on some level, but at least like I feel they're allowing the characters. Oh, look, the lights are coming on. Yes, here on the East Coast, it's almost dark. I feel on some level they're finally allowing the characters to be messy again. Willow and Drew sleeping together,
Yes.
Michael finding out, all these different secrets coming out. And I think I mentioned this last week. I really want to see Michael team up with Ned to bring Drew down. I think that
Yes.
would be,
Yes.
because all this time, last couple of years, it's been, oh, Drew and Michael, we're the good guys, and Ned's the bad guy. He's going to ruin the LQ, and let's flip it now. If
We
Drew's
need
going to
to
be the
see some
bad guy,
shake up
make him the
there.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way things are being shaken up. I know you've heard us complain and whine for the last several weeks, and the truth is both David and I have had hard days, and I don't even think we're real sure which show we're actually talking about right now, but we're going with it.
Day's promo, and it's fabulous. And again, I wish you watch the Days promo, which of course it's filmed several months ahead, and so they can do these long extended previews of basically what's going to be happening over the next 4 months. But you get to see there is a plot, there is plot progression. I don't think General
A
Hospital
long arc.
extended preview with different plot points because they don't know where they're going.
Think about the
But
long arc and how much we love that. That's why we
yeah,
tune into our primetime shows. That's why people are still watching Grey's Anatomy after what, 87 seasons, because they followed the long arc. I mean, we know who Meredith Grey. I mean, I don't watch it, so I'm not going to talk about it, but we get the idea. And that's an important thing. A long arc story ties in viewers in a different way. And by long arc, I mean like we're referring to something that happened 3 years ago. We're not retconning things to make Sasha's somebody's daughter or
right.
or whatever else. I heard a rumor that there is finally going to be a Geo storyline. What this is, no idea.
That
we're
would be great.
seeing things shift away from the Davises. Hopefully they'll just let everything kind of just lie, settle down. You girls take care of your mom, and when we see you again in 3 or 4 months, everything's fine. Put it in the plot locker. Yeah,
Put
boy,
it in the
you should
plot.
see. There are like 80 million comments on there listing all the plots that were left
I was going
forgotten.
to say, I don't dare open the plot locker. Everything's going to come falling out on me.
I saw this movie once where there was a door and nobody knew what was behind it. And when they finally got it open, millions and millions and millions of bugs came pouring out and they feasted on human flesh.
It's that
Okay.
time once again for text messages from Wicked Stepmother, but I was with my stepmother, so she didn't text me. However, I do want to say this. Those of you who watched the little mini podcasts I did talking to her and the comments you left, you guys, you have no idea how great that made her feel. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on the page, just scroll down a bit and look for Nina Shipman's little special podcast and comment, because there were so many people who said, I remember the story she was in. I remember her from Gunsmoke. I remember her from, I'm like, that makes her so happy and it is so meaningful to her. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I know I have a couple of older shows that I'm watching because I went to her IMDb page and I was like, oh, I'm going to see her on this show that I'm watching. I'm going to see her on this show that I'm watching. So I'm looking forward to that. And yes, I do remember, I don't specifically remember her, but I do remember the Lassa Fever storyline back in 1979, I believe.
1979. Yep.
That was a great time for the show. So, and here's to better times for all of us. So take care of yourselves, folks. Like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm going to run around Union Park now and tell more friends. But we'll be back next week. Adios from Snark Jr.
And me, Mama Snark. I remembered my name. Oh my gosh.